awesome discoveries you probably didn't hear about this week.
When the cordyceps fungus infects an ant, it forces its zombified host to climb a plant or tree and latch on. The ant dies and the fungus sprouts from its head and spews its deadly spores from on high. Researchers have learned that as ancient climates cooled, the fungus was forced to adapt, from manipulating victims to clamp down on leaves in the tropics to twigs in regions where trees lose their leaves. A lesson on how environment affects evolution, but nothing on how to stop a zombie apocalypse.
How do complex biological structures emerge from a single fertilized egg? Sure, DNA is the instruction manual, but how cells know when to do what is still a bit of a mystery. Now, researchers have programmed groups of individual cells to self-organize into multi-layered 3D structures, similar to the first stages of embryonic development. They say it's a first step toward programming stem cells to repair damaged tissue or even grow new organs right in the body.
An iPhone app to screen young children for autism has been found easy to use and good at producing reliable data. Autism and Beyond uses the phone's selfie camera to collect videos of children reacting as they watch movies designed to reveal autism risk. Behavioral coding software tracks the movement of the child's face, quantifying emotions and attention. 1,700 families participated in the study, which demonstrated the feasibility of autism screening in a child's natural environment versus a clinical setting.
They used to take minutes to respond. Now researchers have found a way to use magnets to control tiny robots made with DNA, getting them to move on command in less than a second. Direct real-time control of DNA-based molecular machines could one day enable nanorobots to manufacture objects, such as drug delivery devices, as quickly and reliably as full-size robots help to build cars, although their factories would be quite a bit smaller, of course.
And there you go. See you next week with 4 more awesome discoveries funded by NSF. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you know when we post.
A new crew aboard the space station. Curiosity rover's new science findings on Mars. And celebrating 60 years of NASA. A few of the stories to tell you about this week at NASA. Our astronaut Serena Auñón Chancellor arrived at the International Space Station on June 8th as part of its newest crew. Auñón Chancellor, Sergei Prokopyev of Roscosmos, and Alexander Gerst of the European Space Agency launched 2 days earlier from Kazakhstan. Meanwhile, astronaut Scott Tingle returned safely to Earth June 3rd with crewmates Norishige Kanai of Japan and Anton Shkaplerov of Russia. They spent 168 days living and working on the station. Our Curiosity rover found organic molecules preserved in Mars's harsh surface, as well as seasonal variations in the levels of methane in the Martian atmosphere that suggest the planet could have supported ancient life. Although this is not evidence of life itself, it's a good sign for future missions exploring the red planet's surface and subsurface. We kicked off our 60th birthday celebrations with concerts on June 1st and 2nd by the National Symphony Orchestra Pops at the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts in Washington, D.C. The celebration featured performances by will.i.am, Grace Potter, the band Coheed and Cambria, and others, as well as a poem from Star Trek actor John Cho and a new composition from Star Trek composer Michael Giacchino. An exhibit highlighted 6 decades of NASA achievements, including the Apollo moon landings envisioned by late President John F. Kennedy. Our administrator Jim Bridenstine discussed the agency's planned return to the moon.
We have a plan to send humans back to the moon and then onto Mars. We have the most amazing rocket designers on the planet building the systems right now that are going to take humans farther into the solar system than ever before.
Teams of students from U.S. universities participated in the second Mars Ice Challenge, June 5th through 7th. The goal is to demonstrate unique methods of extracting as much water as possible from simulated Martian subsurface ice. Future astronauts who visit distant worlds will need this kind of technology to take advantage of the resources at hand. That's what's up this week at NASA. For more on these and other stories, follow us on the web at nasa.gov/twan.
I am Kristen McCoskey. I am a fuel cycle manager for Exelon, and in that role I manage fuel reloads for Clinton Power Station and monitor online fuel performance as well. I was just blown away by just the magnitude of energy that comes out of a nuclear reaction. As I started my studies in nuclear engineering, I was drawn to the sort of community that exists in the nuclear field, whether it's in school or in the industry. It's so fun to go to events like the Millennial Nuclear Caucus where you see people from across the industry and they're your friends and they know each other, and we also are all trying to work together to help each other learn. I think young people just really want to have an impact. They want to know what they're doing is making a difference, and I think there's lots of opportunities in our industry to do that. We're looking across the industry at trying to make everything we do more efficient, more technologically advanced, and I think it's the bright ideas from young people that are really going to help us make those changes and build enduring value in our nuclear plants.
Antibiotics aren't always the answer. You have a cold, or it could be the flu. Whatever it is, you just want to feel better. You head to the doctor to get antibiotics so you can get back to normal life. Not so fast. Antibiotics save lives, but many times they are prescribed when they aren't really needed, and that's a problem. When you're given antibiotics when they aren't needed, they won't help you, and the side effects could still hurt you. Those side effects can include a rash, dizziness, nausea, diarrhea, yeast infections, and an infection called Clostridium difficile, also called C. difficile or C. diff. Some antibiotics, called fluoroquinolones, have special warnings about severe side effects. These powerful antibiotics are often prescribed even when they aren't the recommended treatment. Not only can antibiotics cause side effects, they also can lead to antibiotic resistance. Antibiotic resistance occurs when bacteria no longer respond to the drugs designed to kill them. This can make future infections harder to treat. At least 2 million Americans get infected with antibiotic-resistant bacteria each year. Antibiotics do not work on viruses, such as those that cause colds and the flu or runny noses. Antibiotics are only needed for treating certain infections caused by bacteria. Antibiotics also won't help some common bacterial infections, including most cases of bronchitis, many sinus infections, and some ear infections. When you have an infection caused by bacteria and your doctor prescribes antibiotics, take them exactly as prescribed. Talk with your healthcare professional if you have any questions about your antibiotics. Stay healthy and keep others healthy by cleaning hands, covering coughs, staying home when sick, and getting recommended vaccines, for flu, for example. Improving the way we take antibiotics will help keep us all healthy and will help fight antibiotic resistance, so these critical drugs are available for years to come. To learn more about antibiotic prescribing and use, visit www.cdc.gov/antibiotic.
Nutrient pollution is one of the most widespread, costly, and challenging environmental problems in America today. Excess amounts of nutrients can lead to algal blooms and shorelines clogged with seaweed. This results in lost fish and shellfish habitat. The waters of Cape Cod, Massachusetts are increasingly nutrient impaired, largely from excess nitrogen in wastewater and stormwater.
Studies tell us that nitrogen reductions are necessary across the Cape in order to ensure that we have clean water to support our fish and shellfish habitat, and also in order to support recreational uses such as swimming, boating, and fishing that Cape Cod is known for.
EPA, the State of Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection, the Cape Cod Commission, and community partners on the Cape are working together to address these issues. 2 towns on Cape Cod were selected to receive technical assistance from EPA to pilot innovative green infrastructure best management practice, or BMP, retrofits designed to capture and treat nitrogen in stormwater.
So the town of Chatham proposed this BMP to EPA a number of years ago for one very good reason. Right down the street is what's known as Oyster Pond. And we've identified water quality issues here a number of years ago. First being bacterial contamination, because the pond is used extensively for swimming, fishing, and shellfishing. And then starting in the 1990s, we identified nutrient impacts to Oyster Pond. We have a road immediately adjacent to us called Oyster Pond Furlong, but underneath that road there is a 36-inch diameter concrete pipe that conveys stormwater from about 16 acres of upland area. And so what happened here is the existing stormwater pipe was intercepted with a new pipe, which diverts a portion of that stormwater flow into the BMP, where it then travels through an underground gravel bed, which has been designed specifically to retain that water for a certain period of time and allow bacteria that are naturally occurring in that water to remove the nitrogen. That nitrogen is converted to nitrogen gas and goes back up into the atmosphere. And what happens is during a heavy rainfall event, what you see in front of us will actually fill up with water, and then gradually over time that water will percolate down through the system and then discharge back into the natural wetland stream that's just off the site. And then from there it flows down into Oyster Pond.
This Chatham BMP is designed to treat an area of almost 16.9 acres, containing 9.29 acres of impervious surfaces, while the Barnstable BMP is designed to treat approximately 6.9 acres, containing 4.6 acres of impervious area.
The water that was coming out of the outfall into the inner harbor is actually coming from all the way up from our airport area. Some of it is commercial, some of it is home and residential, and some of them are just the quaint downtown area. Whatever we're putting on the ground is getting into the system. This became a park with a wonderful brick pathway that goes through it that connects the different beaches and the waterways of the town so that people could easily move about and enjoy the area. We wanted to preserve that walkway and also the park setting, and the gravel wetland was a perfect inclusion into this environment, and that it had actually a visual location for people to focus on nature and to really learn and be educated about what was going on in our waterways and how we can correct this.
This particular BMP, since we did not have room to size for a larger storm such as the 1-inch water quality volume, this BMP is sized to treat a 0.3-inch runoff event. And there has been research done in the past by UNH and others that shows as much as 80% of nitrogen within stormwater is present within these small storm events. So really, even though this BMP is relatively small by typical design standards, it really is capturing and removing a lot of the nitrogen from this stormwater.
EPA estimates that if properly maintained, these BMPs will collectively treat about 1.75 million gallons of nitrogen-containing stormwater runoff per year, or about 42% or better of the available nitrogen load from impervious surfaces draining to these BMPs.
And this system is going to help the town of Barnstable relieve some of the issues we have with the marine outfall that's going in the inner harbor, both sediment and also nutrients. It contaminates our shellfish beds, our swimming areas. People come to the Cape not for the mountains, but for our waterways, and we want to protect them.
And unfortunately here on Cape Cod, real estate is very difficult to come by. In many aspects, the only area that towns have is right along the side of the road. But I think we showed here that we could take a parcel that was originally set aside for conservation, still maintain a lot of conservation aspects of that parcel, but also deal with the nutrient issue.
One of our neighbors is Cape Cod Maritime Museum. They have a STEM program with children, and they're very interested in utilizing this as part of their educational program.
We do want to maintain it as an asset to both the neighborhood and the community while ensuring that the stormwater function continues to meet the goals that EPA and the town have tried to achieve.
EPA will continue to work with the state and its partners in order to understand how systems like these work to remove nutrients in stormwater, not just on the Cape, but in other areas that may be experiencing similar issues. We look forward to implementing innovative approaches that will enhance the resilience of these important and valuable coastal waters and ecosystems.
Hey guys, do you guys know why you can't trust an atom? Because they make up everything. A day without fusion is like a day without the sun. Hey, what's in the fridge?
Oh, just a couple of atoms.
Want to split them? Hey guys, what did the nuclear physicists have for lunch? Fission chips. Hey Caleb, a neutron walks into a bar and asks how much for a drink. The bartender replies, "For you, no charge."
From the Library of Congress in Washington, D.C.
The Library of Congress receives hundreds of thousands of questions each year from curious minds around the world. Reference librarians and subject specialists from across the library are ready and waiting to help you find the information you need. This video will show you the easiest way to ask us a question through our online Ask a Librarian service. This free service is available to anyone, anywhere. Let's begin on the library homepage at loc.gov. Go to the upper left corner of the page and click the 3 horizontal bars. From the drop-down menu, select the Ask a Librarian link. This is the Ask a Librarian homepage. Let's get started by selecting the online form located at the top of the page. Here we are in the Ask a Librarian General Inquiries form. Sending us a question is as easy as typing your question in the box. I'll try. Is it true Susan B. Anthony was known for her red shawl? I haven't been able to find any information on this. Complete the form by entering your question and any additional details, such as where you've already looked for information. Once you have filled in the required fields indicated by a red asterisk, click Ask Your Question to finish. A confirmation page will appear to indicate your submission was successful. You will also get an email confirmation. A librarian will send a full response generally within 5 business days or less. If you have a specific reading room you would like to consult, you can choose it from the list on the Ask a Librarian homepage. For example, if you had a question about Civil War era photographs, you may wish to route your question to the Prints and Photographs division. If you are not quite sure which link to choose, don't worry. Go ahead and select the online form located at the top of the page. No matter what, librarians will direct your question where it needs to go. In addition to the Ask a Librarian online request form, some areas of the library offer chat during limited hours, indicated by the chat icon. Whatever your question, our reference librarians are ready and waiting to provide you with the information you need. So go ahead and ask a librarian.
This has been a presentation of the Library of Congress. Visit us at loc.gov.
Hi, my name is Mickey, and my husband Jeff is a disabled veteran. After 2 deployments to Iraq, I know that the stress and danger of serving in combat can have long-term effects on your loved ones and on you. And for most caregivers and veterans, that struggle can go beyond physical or emotional challenges. It often means you have to adjust to a completely different lifestyle, which could even include major changes to your finances. So while you can't plan for every change in life, and trust me, I know, here are 3 financial life lessons I implemented on my journey as the caregiver of a veteran. I encourage you to do so as well. Number 1 is to build a good budget. You have to take care of your money to take care of your family. Number 2, establish an emergency fund for those unexpected moments in life. As a mom of 2 young kids, I can tell you unexpected happens way more often than you'd like it to. And number 3 is to make sure you have all of the proper estate planning documents in order, including a power of attorney. The videos that are going to follow are going to cover all of these topics and hopefully put some stability in your life and your finances. So from my family to yours, I sincerely thank you for your service, strength, and compassion. And please remember that you're not alone.
This is my first, probably marine experience for sure.
I think that was in Duluth. You're saying, oh, I want you.
To all the fish.
Yeah.
From a little girl selling lemonade on the street in Alpena in front of our house to
making it big.
I wasn't able to make it back for the volunteer ceremony, so they Skyped me in. This award, the Volunteer of the Year for 2014. This really opened the door for me to go to Capitol Hill Ocean Week for the Young Leaders in Ocean Stewardship panel.
Hannah McDonald, who is the Volunteer of the Year for the Thunder Bay National Marine Sanctuary.
Educating the youth and adults about how harmful microplastics are to our waters is very important.
I got to be surrounded by the leaders in ocean conservation and marine stewardship. I got to do a toast to Sylvia Earle. She's such a role model. It was incredible.
They put it on the screen for us there because we couldn't be there. It was quite a
neat. The chow.
Yeah, it was quite a neat experience for our family.
Today's an exciting day with the Big 5 Dive movie premiere. That's really exciting for me. The Big 5 Dive is a group of women getting together on Patty Women's Dive Day in 2016, and we dove all 5 of the Great Lakes in 24 hours. The dive that we did in Lake Huron was on the Joseph Fay, and to come full circle, the first dive that I did as an open water diver was on the Joseph Fay, and I happened to do it with my dad. Fell in love with diving in the Great Lakes and diving on shipwrecks on this shipwreck, and it was incredible to be able to come back to this dive with a wonderful group of women completing our Lake Huron dive at sunrise. I can't even put it into words how great it was. After doing that feat, I could do anything. I really do believe that Ocean for Life, with their conservation focus, set me on track to become a marine steward. Yeah.
I'm Hannah McDonald from Alpena, Michigan. I'm 17 and I'm currently standing on the Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary.
The Ocean for Life program is a National Marine Sanctuaries program that takes 15 Middle Eastern students and 15 American students to one of the National Marine Sanctuaries to educate them both on cultural understanding and, most importantly, the interconnectedness of the ocean. Ocean for Life was my first experience really in the ocean itself. I got to snorkel Channel Islands National Marine Sanctuary in the kelp forest. I got to kayak in the National Marine Sanctuary as well along the beautiful Channel Islands. For me, National Marine Sanctuaries are much more than protected underwater parks. It's the National Marine Sanctuaries that have changed my life and set me on a career path that I am super passionate about and I'm in love with. I also think that being on the shore of one of the Great Lakes in the winter is such a unique experience. Hearing the water hit the ice is really awesome. You just don't get this kind of experience on the ocean really either. It's pretty unique.
There's a picture of her holding her hand up to the glass and the dolphins on the other side of it. My story is, it's where it all started. As far as relationships go, her relationship with the environment, it's probably sort of her first love. I get emotional talking about it. It's a spiritual experience for me to wake up and see this massive body of water. It's just beautiful, and you transcend it. It pulls you out into it, and it makes everything else in your life small. And that's
well said.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a spiritual experience, and to not take care of it. And she makes me so proud because she's doing a lot to try to take care of this plant. Sorry, it's not staged. It's just how but it's true. People live through you. They live through the kinds of things that you want to do. You're so passionate about this planet. There's been so many times I've said to you, you're taking care of this big blue planet. It's going to be people like you that are going to do it, that your generation. It's like you're at the cutting edge and the last frontier to make a difference.
I hope to show people that a girl from the Great Lakes went to university in the Midwest really can be interconnected with the ocean. We're all one, we're all connected. The Great Lakes eventually lead to the ocean. I kind of like to think of myself as just following the Great Lakes out to sea. The Great Lakes, I hope, understand that I'm in love with them, but I'm also in love with the ocean, and the ocean is being pressed with some really disastrous issues that need to be fixed. And I find my calling with helping preserve the ocean. It'll be hard to leave this place after graduating, but the ocean's calling my name, and I gotta go.